Yo, what's up? It's 93 Feet of Smoke. I'm hanging out with Rob on Front Row Live.
All right, man. What's up, dude? Congratulations with this debut album. I feel like it's a long time in the making for you, but like I feel like the wait was so worth it. This is such an incredible record. Dive me into the creative process of Good Grief and like, what really kickstarted that record for you initially?
Thank you so much, man. The first thing that kickstarted it, honestly, like the first song I made for that album was Hurt Like It Did. And then I was just right after that song, I knew I wanted to make a whole body of work to put that on. And then just kind of, that was like June, no, that was April of 2021. And then June, I started working with Aaron Osborne. And then after that, it was kind of just a wrap. I was just like, yo, this is my guy. Like, we're going to do this. And then it all came together like over the past, like probably year or so. And then, yeah, it was good. It was fun. We just tried to make like really catchy music and have fun with it. And I feel like that kind of comes through on the album.
Now, what drew your attention with Aaron? Like, what was it about him that like you felt like he was the right fit for this record, like, and to be able to finalize this record?
He's just, he's like the best producer, best engineer, best, like he's just such a good person to work with. And I feel like I had just came from a spot where I was working completely by myself almost, and that was because like I hadn't had like that experience yet of working with someone else and it like just clicking. And so when it clicked, like I immediately knew. I was like, okay, it took us 3 hours. That song, Oh Nah, I think that was the first song we did. It was like done in 3 hours. And I was like, bro, like I couldn't have done that by myself in 3 hours. Like this is it.
That's the cool part, because it's like you've self-produced so much of your stuff in the past, and this time around, as you mentioned, like you come in and bring an outside producer, someone that you're working with for the very first time. So how are you able to let that producer hat go and let someone else take the reins while you're able to focus on your actual material and your lyrics?
Well, with Aaron, it's great because he's just better than me. Like he's just a really, really good producer. And so like I don't have to be there. Like anything I'm thinking of saying, let's do this, let's do that, he's already like 5 steps ahead of me doing it. So I'm just like, okay, let me just write this so that by the time he's done, like we can track it. And then it's like we're almost racing each other to see like who can like get it done the first.
Now, I love how honest and raw this record is. Every single track in it, like you really spilled everything out to your audience. Do you feel like that's something that just happened naturally during this process, or do you feel like it's something that you had to really work towards in order to be okay with releasing stuff like this?
No, it's definitely like, you know, ever since I started dropping music, it was like it would be just very raw. Because, no one knew who I was. No one listened to my music. I didn't share my music with my friends or my family. I just put it out there online. So like that's kind of how it always was. So for this one, it wasn't like any different. It was more of just how can we make this more like conventional, like purposefully little, like not put it in a box, but like don't let it be completely all over the map. Like Safubi, I feel like I was like, I'm gonna hit every single genre one by one. Like each song is gonna be a completely different genre. And this time I was just more focused on making something a little bit more like commercial, to be completely honest. So I think we managed to do that with this album.
And the fact that you changed it up like that, do you feel like it made it like it was a new way of writing? Did you feel like you had to relearn how to write just to kind of
Oh
make
yeah,
it sound the way that it did?
definitely. Like after I dropped this album called Bum like 2018, I had no idea how to write music anymore. Like I just had to completely relearn because my life changed. I used to make a lot of music from, bad experiences. And then my life, got a lot better. And then I was like happy. And I was like, how the hell do I write music if I'm happy? I don't know how to do this.
That's the crazy part of being an artist, that it's like it sucks that you go through these things, but at the same time, these situations or these experiences is what lets you be more creative. I don't know if more creative is the right word, but like be able to like talk about topics that a lot of your audience is going through at the same time, but just don't know how to express it.
Hmm.
So the fact that you were now happy, and um, how did that like really change like the way that you would approach music? Like, would you still try and write the same way that you did, or do you feel like you would constantly have to try and dig even deeper for like experiences or like things to write about?
Yeah, it went from like from just pure like experience based music to like after Bummer, I was just kind of experimenting with different like, you know, almost like how stories are written. Like you come up with a story and you try to like just kind of paint a picture, whether it's like any stupid for no reason at all, existential, like whatever it could be. So I would just kind of try to pick different little artistic things to talk about. But I didn't really stick to it like for a whole song. And now I try to like stick to one solid theme for a whole song. And every single word, the verses, the chorus, everything has to do with one topic. So like that was very new for me. And just listening to a lot of like pop music and, you know, kind of popular music nowadays has been like helpful to do that, you know.
Now, you said that Hurt Like It Did was the first track that you kind of started working towards this record. Do you feel like that track, the identity of the track, like helped you understand what the album was going to be like? Or do you feel like that track helped you step into this record, start writing more material, and then like eventually the identity of the record kind of like popped out on you?
Yeah, it was just the identity definitely popped out later. It wasn't like a lead single of the album, you know, and it wasn't like a lead kind of like concept of the album, but it was just like very, very like honest to me, very like you know, very open. Like that's probably like the most like raw um lyrically song I've put out in like a couple years. So that I just knew I was like, okay, well, this has to be packaged the right way. You know, I want people to get this in a broader context. So I just didn't want it to be floating around like a Lucy, like a single.
Yeah, I get that completely. The fact that this was one of the rawest tracks that you've done, like, would you say that this was the hardest song to write and finalize, or was there a different song that you felt like more challenged with in this record?
Yeah, by far the hardest. Yeah, for sure. Like production wise, like I did that song all by myself and I spent a long time on it. So
Talk to me a little bit about your singing, your melodies, like the vocal process of this album. Um, did you come into it knowing what kind of vocal techniques, vocal ranges you would be hitting, or is this something that again Aaron comes in and you guys start to figure this out as the recording process starts to go?
it was definitely a lot more conscious. Like we're gonna stick to these keys because I can sing this low register and I can sing this high register. Like I can hit 2 octaves in this key. We're gonna stick to this. Um, chord progressions, like everything was very pop culture, like pop music oriented, but with like an edge on it, you know? So it's like it's digestible, it's easy to listen to, but it like also has that like kind of new, like a little some like little edge to it in the production with the 808s and you know the heaviness and I was just trying to, you know, I've made a bunch of different songs before, but I've never tried to like make something that could get you into 93 feet of smoke. Like this is kind of like the here's like here's the little offering of the different sonics in like a very palpable manner. That's kind of like what how we approached it.
And at the same time, like you have a few collaborations on this record, features on this record. What was it about these artists that you felt like they were very crucial for this record? And for you as an artist, like about to, releasing his debut record, like why did you feel like it was important to have features instead of just standalone you?
Um, well, doing the no features thing is cool. It's definitely how you'll get like your diehard fans and like that's how you set up like, you know, your culture as a musician and like what people can expect from you is like not leaning on anyone else. And so like that had been like a very core belief of mine. That's why I was like solo dolo for the longest time. And at that point I was like, okay, at this, like I don't need to do that again because I've done that so many times. What I need to do is like do something I haven't done, like work with these other artists like Fem, Garden, Tosh. Like I haven't done any of that before. I've only worked with like friends, and I didn't like I've known Garden, but I didn't necessarily know Fem. Didn't expect them to be down to get on the song. Very grateful they did. But it was just to that point where it was like, okay, we need to like invigorate this. And I think features was a great way to do that.
What would you say is your proudest moment on this record? Like either a particular track or just like a moment you had in the recording studio or the writing process?
Oh, I think Toothpaste. I know I said Hurt Like It Did lyrically, probably the strongest. That's probably just the most like personal, but I think lyrically, as like thematically, like Toothpaste is definitely like my favorite, the best well-written song on that album. But when we made Toothpaste, I was like, dude, this is something completely fresh that has so many elements to it, but I've never heard anyone do it like this. Like this is the one. So once we did Toothpaste, we were like, okay, let's do that 8 more times. We're good.
What do you think was different with Toothpaste that you said it was like the most mature or the best writing you've done so far?
Um, so I think I got channeled for that song. Like I woke up that morning, said my prayers, to the different spiritual deities, the creative deities out here, and they blessed me. They got me right. I was like, yo, thank you. We're gonna make the best song ever today. I was literally like driving in the car. I was like, we're gonna make the best song ever. This is gonna be amazing. I'm so excited. Like, just kind of like channeling it. And then it just like came. But that's how I think. I don't know. I'm kind of a head ass, but I honestly believe like that stuff like works. So
Yeah. Well, what was that process like though? Once you were starting to channel it, do you feel like you literally the pen was just guiding you and the
oh
lyrics were
yeah.
flowing?
It's
Like,
just
did you,
like
man?
the whole song, like I heard the whole song already. Like I wrote out like a whole note app. It wasn't in the order it is now, but I wrote like paragraphs just like immediately. Like it just came to me. So
Yeah. Which song out of these 10 tracks, which song do you feel like got the most revisions or the most like, I don't know, like you scratched
mm,
and redid it and all over again? Like what song would you say was that?
definitely Nightmare. We went through a ton of different arrangement guitar progressions. We scrapped like the whole chorus once or twice. We reproduced it. It was just an acoustic song at first that I wrote with my guy Nick Bailey, and then linked up with Aaron on it. And we're like, that's cool, that's not cool. Strip that, redo that, and that took that by far the most revisions. But I'm very happy with how it turned out.
The fact that you've been doing this all on your own for quite some time now, and now this time you got to step in with other creatives, another producer. How do you feel that you've evolved as a songwriter and as an artist during the process of this record?
Definitely learned a lot about songwriting. Like, I was kind of studying songwriting more so like this year and the second half of last year more than I ever have. Like, would just before write music on feelings and focused on production. Like when I came up in SoundCloud, like 2012, 2011, it was all production. Like the biggest people on SoundCloud in 2013 was by far the producers. Like everyone who was in that knows that. Like that was running rampant. That was way bigger than like the solo artists that run SoundCloud now. So it was more coming up was like, let's focus on flexing production. And then at this point, I'm like, okay, let's focus on flexing songwriting. Let's tell the best story we can. And that's what Good Grief is to me, is to like every single song has a story and it paints a picture. It's like lyrical, very visual. So
Amazing, man. Well, congratulations with this record. It's incredible. Like there's no standalone track. Every single track feels like a single. And I love it, man, from beginning to end. So congratulations with that. I'm looking
appreciate
forward to
that.
seeing you evolve even more, and I'm looking forward to seeing more music fans kind of gravitate towards your music. So
Definitely.
we're definitely going to do this again sometime soon.
For sure, man. Appreciate it so much. Thank you.